Top 5 Most Valuable Canadian 25-Cent Coins, Rare Finds and Their Fascinating History. 25 cents Canada Elizabeth Coins 1979, 2001, 2015, 2003, 2006. Welcome back, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the world of Canadian quarters. From rare mint errors to iconic designs, these 25-cent pieces have fascinating stories behind them, and some are worth much more than 25 cents. Stick around as we reveal the top 5 most valuable Canadian quarters and what makes them so special. Each of these Canadian quarters holds a unique place in history, and as collectors know, rarity and condition are everything when it comes to coin value. If you're lucky enough to find one of these in your collection, you might just have a hidden treasure.
The 1979 Canadian 25-cent piece. We'll explore its history, design, minting details, and current value. Whether you're a collector or just curious about Canadian coins, you're in the right place. So, let's get started. The Canadian 25-cent coin, also known as the quarter, has a long history dating back to 1870. It's one of Canada's most circulated denominations and holds a special place in Canadian culture. The 1979 quarter represents a snapshot of Canada's economy, art, and technology at the time. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1979 Canadian quarter. On the obverse side, we see a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This was one of her younger portraits, which was featured on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989. On the reverse, we have the iconic caribou design, which has been a staple on Canadian quarters since 1937, created by Canadian artist Emmanuel Hahn. The 1979 Canadian quarter is made of pure nickel, unlike modern quarters, which are typically made of steel with a nickel coating. It has a diameter of 23.88 millimeters, weighs 5.07 grams, and has a smooth edge. In 1979, over 88 million of these quarters were minted, meaning it's relatively common in terms of availability. So, what's the value of the 1979 Canadian quarter today? For most circulated coins, the value is around face value, 25 cents. However, coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, or those with proof-like qualities, can be worth a bit more, often between $1 and $5. If you're lucky enough to find one in exceptional condition, it could fetch even higher prices from collectors. While the 1979 Canadian quarter isn't considered rare, its value can increase if it's in excellent condition or if it has any notable mint errors. Some collectors might pay more for coins with specific imperfections or variations from the minting process, like double dies or off-center strikes. So keep an eye out for any unique features on your 1979 quarters. Here's a fun fact. The caribou design on the Canadian quarter has become a beloved symbol of Canada. Since 1937, it has appeared on all regular quarters, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in the world. Canada also released special commemorative quarters over the years, celebrating everything from Canada's provinces to significant cultural events. The 2001 Canadian 25 cents coin. Whether you're a coin collector, history lover, or just curious about what's in your pocket, this video will cover all the key details. So, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the background of this iconic coin. Like many Canadian quarters, the 2001 edition features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, a tradition for Canadian currency. The reverse side displays the iconic caribou, symbolizing Canada's northern wilderness and a long-standing representation of the 25-cent coin. The Canadian Mint produced a large number of these coins, continuing to highlight the country's natural heritage. Though the 2001 quarter didn't feature a special commemorative design, it still has a unique story. During this time, the Royal Canadian Mint was actively experimenting with various metals and alloys to create more durable coins. Now, let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, we have the right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Pedery Hunt. This particular design was first used in 1990 and remained until 2003. Around the portrait, you'll find inscriptions reading Elizabeth II and D.G. Regina, which is short for De Gratia Regina, meaning, by the grace of God, Queen. Flipping over to the reverse, you'll see the caribou. This symbol of Canada's wildlife has been a staple of the 25-cent coin since 1937, representing Canada's appreciation of its northern wilderness. The words Canada and 2001 are inscribed above, with 25 cents marking its denomination below. In 2001, millions of 25-cent coins were minted. Unlike silver quarters from earlier years, these coins are composed of 100% nickel, making them durable and ideal for circulation. However, the Royal Canadian Mint did produce both circulated and proof versions for collectors. The high mintage and common alloy composition mean that most 2001 quarters aren't particularly rare, but they still hold value as part of Canada's rich numismatic history. Now, let's get to the big question. What is the 2001 Canadian quarter worth today? In circulated condition, most 2001 quarters are worth face value, or 25 cents, because they were widely produced. However, collectors do pay more for coins in pristine or uncirculated condition. For an uncirculated 2001 quarter, prices can range between $1 and $3. Proof versions, or coins that were part of a collector's set, can reach up to $10, depending on their condition. Special errors or varieties, like die cracks or misalignments, can sometimes fetch higher prices, so it's always worth inspecting your coins closely. If you're a collector, there are a few things to keep in mind. Always handle coins by their edges to avoid fingerprints, and store them in a protective sleeve to prevent scratches. For Canadian coins like this, using a magnifying glass to inspect for errors or unique features can be worth your while. The 2015 Canada 25-cent coin. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this video will guide you through its value, unique features, and the history behind this modern Canadian classic. The 25-cent coin, also known as the Canadian quarter, has been part of Canada's currency since 1870. Initially minted in silver, it has gone through numerous design and material changes over the years. But by the 2000s, the quarter had evolved into the cupronickel version we know today, with some unique yearly commemorative designs. The 2015 Canadian quarter features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Susanna Blunt in 2003. It's a classic image that Canadian collectors and the general public recognize instantly. The reverse side of the coin showcases Canada's iconic caribou, a nod to Canada's rich wildlife heritage and its importance in the country's northern ecosystem. Unlike quarters from earlier years, the 2015 version is made of nickel-plated steel. It weighs approximately 4.4 grams and has a diameter of 23.88 millimeters. This coin was minted at the Royal Canadian Mint, where innovative minting processes keep Canadian coins durable and visually striking. So, what's the value of this coin? While standard circulated versions from 2015 are typically worth their face value of 25 cents, uncirculated coins or those with errors can fetch a bit more on the collector's market. Typically, a well-preserved uncirculated quarter from 2015 could sell for around $1 to $3, while any rare error versions may go for much more. Error coins are a rarity, but if you're lucky enough to find a 2015 quarter with a minting error, like misstrikes or off-center designs, they could be worth significantly more. Always check your coins for these unique details. In addition to the standard caribou design, Canada sometimes releases commemorative quarters with unique designs. Although 2015 didn't feature a new commemorative, Canadian quarters have celebrated themes like nature, history, and culture. Checking each year's quarter designs is a fun way to explore the nation's diverse heritage. Did you know? In Canada, quarters are sometimes called caribou because of the design. And even though it's not widely circulated anymore, Canada still occasionally mints quarters in silver for special editions. The 2003 Canadian 25-cent coin, a fascinating piece in Canadian coin history. Whether you're a collector or just curious about the value and story behind this quarter, we've got everything you need to knock. The 25-cent coin is one of Canada's most recognizable and widely circulated coins. The Canadian Mint has produced quarters since 1870, but the design we see today started back in 1937, featuring the caribou on the reverse, and over time, there have been several notable versions. In 2003, the caribou design continued to dominate the reverse of the quarter, showcasing Canada's northern wildlife. But on the obverse, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II is notable. Why? Because it marks the fourth and final portrait update of the Queen by artist Susanna Blunt, where she's shown without a crown, giving the design a modern, relatable look. What makes the 2003 quarter particularly interesting for collectors is the existence of different varieties. There are two main types: the uncrowned regular issue with a mintage of around 194 million coins and some special commemorative editions produced in the same year. For example, in 2003, Canada released a series of quarters to commemorate Canadian culture and achievements. Keep an eye out for these commemorative editions as they tend to hold more value than the regular caribou design. So, how much is a 2003 Canadian 25-cent coin worth today? Well, the value depends largely on its condition and whether it's a standard or commemorative issue. If you have a circulated 2003 caribou quarter, it typically holds face value unless it's in exceptionally good condition. In mint or uncirculated condition, they may fetch around $1 to $2. For commemorative quarters in uncirculated or mint condition, you could expect values ranging from $3 to $10, sometimes more if they're in exceptional condition or part of a set. Narrator. Keep in mind, values fluctuate, especially with the demand in the collector market. So, if you have a high-quality coin, it could be worth more down the line. Now, if you're looking to add a 2003 quarter to your collection, or maybe check if you have a valuable one, here are some tips. Check for mint marks and variants. Some quarters may have unique features or mint errors that could increase value. Condition matters. Quarters with minimal wear, clear detail, and no scratches will always hold higher value. Commemorative editions. Keep an eye out for these, as they're often harder to find in good condition and have added collectible value. Before we wrap up, here are a few fun facts about the Canadian quarter. Did you know? The caribou design has been on Canadian quarters since 1937 and is an iconic symbol of Canadian wilderness. Also, the 25-cent coin is one of Canada's most frequently minted denominations, with millions produced every year. The 2006 Canadian 25-cent coin, a quarter that may just surprise you with its unique design, background, and potential value. If you're curious about what makes this coin special, stick around. Canada's 25-cent coin, or quarter, has been around since 1870. Like the US quarter, it's part of everyday currency, yet Canadian quarters have seen beautiful, unique designs over the years. The 2006 Canadian quarter is particularly interesting. Produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, it celebrates Canada's culture, symbols, and natural beauty while also honoring the monarchy. The 2006 quarter features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side, with her effigy designed by Susanna Blunt, introduced in 2003. Unlike previous designs, this one shows the Queen without her crown, giving her a modern and dignified look that Canadians appreciate. On the reverse side, we have Canada's iconic caribou design. This imagery has been part of the Canadian quarter since 1937, symbolizing Canada's wildlife and its wilderness. This design choice reflects Canada's dedication to preserving its natural heritage. The 2006 Canadian quarter is made primarily of nickel-plated steel, which was part of the Royal Canadian Mint's initiative to reduce costs. The shift to steel occurred in 2000, making the 2006 quarter part of this newer generation of Canadian coins. It weighs 4.4 grams and has a diameter of 23.88 mm. Though it's not a rare metal, the coin's durability and low cost make it a great piece for everyday transactions and collecting alike. Over 200 million quarters were minted in 2006, making it a common year for this coin. However, era coins or those in mint condition can be particularly valuable to collectors. Keep an eye out for any unusual markings or die errors on your 2006 quarters. In some cases, these era coins can sell for significantly more than face value. Now, let's talk value. In circulated condition, a 2006 Canadian quarter is generally worth its face value, 25 cents. However, if you have a pristine, uncirculated version or an error variant, the value can increase. Some collectors are willing to pay around $1 to $5 for coins in uncirculated or high-grade condition. For error coins, the value can jump significantly based on rarity and demand, so it's always a good idea to have it appraised by a numismatic expert. Canadian quarters can occasionally make their way into circulation in the United States. Some collectors enjoy finding Canadian quarters and adding them to their collections for the variety they offer. The 2006 quarter, with its iconic caribou, remains a popular piece for enthusiasts in both countries. Interested in starting your own Canadian coin collection? Look out for quarters from each year and explore commemorative releases by the Royal Canadian Mint. Canadian coins can be fascinating to collect due to the variety of designs and themes released over the years. And who knows, you might stumble upon a valuable piece. Thanks for joining us in exploring the 2006 Canadian quarter. Whether you're a dedicated collector or just getting started, there's always something interesting to learn from each coin's history and design. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more coin collecting tips and history.